Hi everyone, Flaming Footy here and welcome back to the new video on the channel. And today guys, here we are for another AFL 2022 finals match review, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing the second preliminary final between Sydney versus Collingwood at the SCG. If you can't tell, I've literally just finished watching this game and it was insane, right down to the last minute, crazy stuff. So we're not going to waste any time, let's go ahead, hop right into the review. So a spot in the grand final was up for grabs in this one, and the Swans win by 1 point. I got my tip correct, and the Swans will be playing the Cats next week in the 2022 AFL Grand Final. Absolute scenes at the SCG. Sydney 14-11-95 beat Collingwood 14-10-94. And it was crazy after the Swans did own most of this game. However, a really good second half effort from Collingwood really did bring them right back into the frame, and they fell a point short in the end after really massive last quarter, because you felt they were in it. And every time Sydney just looked to get a goal back, it was just always Collingwood. Now, first quarter, Sydney owned the first half, really. They kicked 11 goals in the first half, but finished with 14. Collingwood had 7 goals at half time. They finished with 14. It was crazy stuff, and Collingwood had the much better second half, but Sydney started off strongly, which in the end was their saviour. If they had have been even with Collingwood at half time, they would have ended up losing this game by probably a comfortable 20 or 30 point win to Collingwood, but because they had that first half advantage, that is how they managed to hang on to the game by one solitary point. Now, in that third quarter, that is where Collingwood made a little bit of ground. The margin was 30 at half time. It was pushed down to 23 at three-quarter time. Collingwood just got to chip away at it. And Collingwood aren't a team that like to lead up and take marks. They're a chaos team. They're a team that will bring the ball to ground level, and that's where they feed on the footy, and that's where they can create lots of opportunities. And they attacked the corridor really well in that last quarter as well. The Swans, they were very tired in that second half after their first half blowout, but they got tired and Collingwood came back and almost pulled off the biggest steal you'll ever see. And then in the last quarter, it's a really even game. For the first half the quarter, there's 1 goal scored, but then Collingwood kicked the next 1, 2, 3 goals to come right back into things. And in the end, though, the Swans just proved to be very good in the end and just hang on. Just hang on by 1 point in one of the best games you'll see. That's the best game of the finals. I'm saying that right now. That is the best game of the final series that we've had. Scott Pendlebury, 29 disposals. He knows. He's just such a smart footballer. He's got all the time in the world. And even in big moments, he was just so calm. He never loses his cool calmness. He's always like that, no matter the moment, which is something that we all love about Scott Pendlebury. And he's such a great footballer. Most certainly, Scott Pendlebury. Tom Papley, we know the SCG absolutely love him. SCG packed full. Tom Papley doing what he does best. Such a brilliant small forward, can go into the midfield as well. Jack Crisp, 105 fantasy. He can do it all as well. And James Rowbottom, 8 tackles, along with Jordan De Goey. Jordan De Goey in career best form right now. Amid trade rumours for De Goey, but oh man, he's pulling off some sort of final series. And he was really keen pulling Collingwood back to 1 point as the margin. 114 fantasy for Crisp, 103 for Mills, 103 for Goulden, 99 for Nick Dacos, 97 for Scott Pendlebury, 96 for Still Sidebottom, 95 for Darcy Cameron, 94 for Heaney, Rowbottom, 93 for Hickey, 91 for Quainer, 90 for Warner. Really influential players there. 3 goals for Papley, 2 for Elliott. We know Jamie Elliott, such a brilliant goal scorer. He gets goals a lot. Buddy Franklin, 2 goals. 2 for Hoskin Elliott, and Beau McCreary really showed some of the speed that he has to offer in this one as well. Disposals now, 29 for Crisp and Pendlebury, 27 for Mills, 23 for Parker, Nick Dacos, 22 for Chad Warner. Now to the marks, Nick Blakey took 7 along with Heaney, Franklin, Moore and Sidebottom. Tackles now, 10 for Rowbottom, 8 for De Goey, 7 for Goulden and Quainer. Now the hit-outs, 27 for Hickey. Hickey really did take a massive mark in that last minute to really end up playing a key role to steering his side to victory. If he didn't take that mark, we could be sitting here right now saying Collingwood won by 4 points or whatever the margin could have been. So that mark was massive there by Tom Hickey, which perhaps saved his team season. Mason Cox, 18 disposals as well, played a big role. 16 for Cameron, 5 for Kruger the sub, 4 for Reid who got subbed off. Team stats now, where it was such an interesting, cracking game of footy. Collingwood, they went inside 50, 61 times to Sydney's 56. Sydney did dominate early, but they dominated in scores. They didn't get a massive gap of inside 50s because Collingwood was still going inside 50, but Sydney were just scoring more off them than Collingwood. But in the end, Collingwood won inside 50s because they were still even, but in the end, in that second half, they were scoring more than Sydney, but Sydney was still going inside 50 as well. So you can see what I'm talking about there as to why that number is like that, where it could have been totally different. Now to free kicks, 15 to 20. Now, I'm going to have my say on this. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I do feel like the umpires did miss a couple of free kicks. Nothing critical that would have changed the game, but just a couple of holding the men free kicks, which I saw earlier in the game as well. I thought that they were... again, though, it is a prelim final. You do have to let it flow. Of course, there's going to be a little bit more aggression, so I do see the total reasoning and understanding. Plenty of 50-metre penalties as well in this game. Some for unnecessary reasons, and there was one against Ginnivan, which I'm not quite sure about that one, but anyway, hit out 31-39 in favour of Collingwood. Clearances 44-47, 14-15 standard clearances, +1 in favour of Collingwood, +2 stoppage in favour of Collingwood. Let's see what else. Marks 83-68. Again, Collingwood, they're more of a frenzy, chaos kind of team. And when you think of the word chaos, you're not really thinking of taking marks and being really casual. You're thinking of more spoiling the ball, getting it to ground. That's where they absolutely feed on the footy there, is Collingwood on the ground level. So you can see again why that number's like that. 14-8 marks inside 50 in favour of Sydney. Again, you can see the reason. 16-10 contested marks in favour of Sydney. Again, as I said, you can see the reason. Sydney led for the whole game, but Collingwood were always pressing. Collingwood were always there, and even when it was a 22-point game, you're like, if Collingwood get the next, they're back in the game. If Collingwood get the next, they are back in the game. That's how it always felt. Even when Sydney were out at a bigger lead. 7-21 tackles inside 50. Collingwood bringing some pressure inside 50. That is a big differential. Probably one of the biggest we've seen all year. And Collingwood were very gallant. They were very good using the corridor. They used the corridor a lot, hence why they had 5 to 9 bounces, taking up that corridor option. Sydney, they've been a little bit more keen to go down the ground, not so much in the corridor, and you can't really take bounces because they were trying to, every time since half-time, just take a bit of time off the clock, especially in that last quarter. That's when they wanted to do that. Massive, massive, massive win for the Swans. They're through the granny. The Swans by 1 in one of the best games, one of the best finals you'll see. So it is going to be a Cats v Swans grand final next Saturday afternoon at the MCG to decide who is the best side this season. Now, no, I will not be giving away any spoilers just yet, but I do have some massive grand final videos planned, so make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see those videos. That's going to wrap us up now. Swans by 1, an absolute thriller. And wow, absolute thriller, absolute classic. Swans by 1. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Sending you guys and then miss another video on the channel. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Bye everyone. Flaming Footy out.